The Even Start Family Literacy Program in York County, Virginia, is a collaborative program between York County School Division, Thomas Nelson Community College, and the Colonial Services Board. Even Start is held at Yorktown Elementary School on Tuesday and Wednesday. It is held at Magruder Elementary School on Thursday and Friday. One parenting instructor in our program teaches parenting skills to teen mothers who are still in high school. In the adult education component of the program, we start our class with a thought for the day. In the following lesson, students will use centimeter cubes to calculate perimeter, area, and volume. They will use graduated cylinders to measure volume and balanced scales to measure mass. Today we're having a lesson on measurement. We're going to be using the centimeter cubes to figure or calculate perimeter, area, and volume. First, we need to decide what perimeter is. Does anybody remember how we figure perimeter? If you have a room that is 4 feet wide and 5 feet long, you multiply. For perimeter, we figured perimeter by finding the distance around the room. Okay.
So you would times,
you would add
add
4
4 and 4, then
five,
times
it.
2. Right, times it 2 times.
Right. We're going to add the length of the sides. Okay? So for perimeter, we're simply adding. Now, what I want you to do is take some of the cubes and put together the perimeter of this room. I want the perimeter to be 4 feet by 5 feet. Now these are centimeter cubes, but we are going to pretend that they are a foot apiece. So if you would put them together and make a room that is 4 feet by 5 feet. Okay, the distance around the room would be 4 feet by 5 feet. And so we are adding the sides to calculate the perimeter. Now, when we're calculating the perimeter, we're calculating the distance around the room. We always measure the width, the smaller distance. The length is going to be the longer distance. So 4 feet would be the width and 5 feet would be the length. Okay? When you calculate the area of the room, if you were going to put new carpet or linoleum down in the room, you would multiply the width times the length. So to figure the area, you take the length times the width, and that will give you the area. What we're going to do now is we're going to fill in our cube so that we can calculate area. So we need to fill in the perimeter so that we have cubes in the middle too. Okay? Now we're going to figure the volume. If we were going to take that room and make it into a swimming pool, we would need to know how much water it would hold. So we would figure the volume of the room. To figure volume, you take the length times the width, and then you take that times the height. So volume is calculated with length times width times height. So what we're going to do now is compile our 3 masterpieces. Okay. Let's figure first our area. Our area was the length times the width. What would that be?
20.
So our area was 20 square feet. And our volume, we're going to take the length times the width times the height. We have piled our cubes 3 high, and so our length is 5, our width is 4, and our height is 3. So our volume would be what? 60. 60 what?
60 foot.
We call it cubic feet. Okay. So we would have 60 little cubes in our creation. Now, what if you have a bottle that's shaped like this? You can't take length times width times height to figure volume. So instead, we're going to use what's called a graduated cylinder. What I'd like you to do is to take your bottle that's filled and pour it into the graduated cylinder to find out the volume of that jar. Now the graduated cylinder is marked in milliliters. Take a look at the side of your graduated cylinder and see how many milliliters are in the bottle. What did you get, Stephanie?
65.
65 milliliters. And what did you get, Tara? 65 milliliters. So these little jars hold 65 milliliters of fluid. That is calculating the volume. Now, these little centimeter cubes are also weigh 1 gram. We're going to figure the mass of this jar by using these gram cubes. So what I'd like you to do is in one of your plates, put your jar, and in another plate, see how many grams we have, see how many grams the bottle weighs. So we're using the gram cubes to calculate mass. Mass is different from weight. With weight, you need gravity. Mass always stays the same, whether you're on the moon or on the earth.
So we have enough cubes?
Don't look like it.
Oop, you're close. Maybe not. Ooh. Now you have to take them out of it. You're close. Now you need to count the number of grams in your tray to see how many grams your jar weighs.
And tell the weight.
So the balances aren't perfect. The balance scales aren't perfect.
No, because if you put it a certain way on
52?
both sides.
You got 52 also.
Mhm.
So the jars have the same mass.